to make over this apartment. As a kid, I always dreamed of living in New York City, even though I'm from LA, so I guess the grass is always greener on the other side, literally and figuratively, because California is burning up into ashes and flames right now. But after 16 years of this thing called education and 20,000 job interviews later, I finally grinded my ass off and made it here. Alright, so let's get on with this makeover. I don't know really what else to say because I'm really awkward at filming transitions. So cue the transition.
Alright, floor plan tour. You walk in and this is the foyer, lobby, whatever fancy word you want to describe, entryway. With a nice window with some natural lighting, and there's this large storage closet, and then we make a left. These two rooms are my roommates, her bedroom and her bathroom, and then we make a right to enter the living room and kitchen area. Bam, another window. One thing I absolutely love about this apartment is the abundance of natural lighting and windows everywhere. Only downside is I can't walk around with no pants on almost anywhere. But the kitchen is a bit older and a bit drabby, but we plan to change that up. Then we open up to the living room, and my favorite thing about this apartment is this gorgeous corner floor to ceiling window, and then from this view you can see the bar area. Big fan of the open kitchen concept. And then we take a right into my bedroom. I have two closets on the left side, a bathroom, and my bedroom. And once again, so freaking excited for the same window setup that I have in my living room.
So this part I am so excited about is I'm actually going to try to make my own DIY wood headboard and have it kind of custom made with some floating shelves. So I basically got this giant slab of birch wood, so it's this really pretty light color from Home Depot for only about 40 bucks. And I was trying to get a headboard for my bed because my bed doesn't come with a headboard. And it was another like 200, 300 bucks at least. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to sand all the edges. So I just wanna make sure I get rid of all the splinters and all of that. And I'm basically just using my handy dandy sanding sponge again. So it's basically sandpaper. So I'm just gonna I'm going to do is I'm going to sand my small pieces for the shelvings and the floating nightstand. So I have these two equal size pieces that I cut at Home Depot, and I can include the dimension. I forgot them right now at the moment, but these are two equal sizes, and I'm going to basically put one here and the other one hopefully there. Mine is kind of in the way, so I don't know how we're going to solve that. And all these pieces were cut from a 4x9 slab of wood. So this is a little bit smaller than 4x9 because I cut some off to use for the shelving. First, I'm going to use my measuring tape to make sure both sides are leveled and mark using my pencil where I want to attach my shelf. I'm just going to lay this flat on the floor because we need kind of gravity's help to make sure the shelves stick, because you can also use a dowel and drill method, but if you find really strong wood glue, it can also work as well. So I'm going to use wood glue just because it's easier and I'm lazy and I don't want to buy dowels or drill holes. You put on gloves so you protect your hands, so I'm going to lay this flat first. sleeping on my air mattress for about a good 2 weeks now. So my old lady back is having some issues. I did a lot of research on mattresses because I never had to buy one before. The one I had in college came with the apartment, so it was just like a really standard kind of crappy mattress. And I just put like a foam mattress topper on top of it for my bath. Now I'm actually trying to get a better mattress, and there's like 1,010,000 types. There's like box springs, I don't even know what those are. There's box mattresses, non-box mattresses. But in the end, I ended up with Casper's budget option. And no, this video is not sponsored by Casper, but that would be great because even the cheapest mattress is still pretty expensive. You know when you're adulting when you have to invest in a mattress. And it's also a sign that your body is aging and you need better back support.
Buying mattresses are tricky, especially if you are adulting for the very first time. I'm personally a big fan of memory foam and medium firmness. Coming from an Asian family, my mattress at home is like sleeping on a rock because my mom always says harder is better. Alright, second DIY project. We are going to make the floating effect more exaggerated on the bed by creating a underlit effect. I got these LED lights from IKEA and I'm going to cut command strips to stick them to the bottom of my bed. Bedside lighting, I opted for these clip-on spotlights from IKEA because I think they're just so simple and minimalist, and I'm going to clip these onto the wood headboard to make and create that modern space-saving aesthetic.
Imagine, if you will, I like to kind of create a color scheme that matches my room, so I have these nice wood hangers that are too chunky for my actual closet, because for my actual closet I want to use the felt ones that are super thin and space-saving, and I kind of just chose a color palette of kind of whites, creams, and mauve grays and pinks that I'm going to put on my exposed wardrobe.
This sanding sponge was my best purchase of 2020 hands down. This gets rid of scratches and any imperfections so well.
Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper.
So instead of paying for art, I decided to save money by commissioning myself as the artiste. And I wanted to come up with some minimalist watercolor line art pieces to hang around my room. I started off with a light pencil sketch on watercolor paper, and then I watercolored the colored parts. Watercolor is pretty forgiving before it dries, so if it looks bad, you can just dab the water off, so it's not that scary, I promise. it's been about almost 3 weeks, almost a month since I moved into this apartment, and my apartment is still not done, but my hair is way shorter. I'm gonna show you guys how these things are really fucking magical. They're literally they're pretty inexpensive off of Amazon, and they're these like magnetic like poster hanging strips. So if you don't want to buy like expensive frames for your artwork, this is a really easy way and cost efficient way to kind of hang your artwork. So I decided to put this fake plant in my bathroom windowsill that I'm now obsessed with. And I would say I am a plant hoe, but then I would be a fake plant hoe because I am literally the queen of fake plants. I have so many just lined up from college. I probably have about 6. I don't know why I bought 2 more when I went to IKEA this time, but it's really a problem. So my goal for this year is to take care of some real plants, because originally I was going to be traveling for work. I work a job that will require me to travel Monday through Thursday, so it's probably not very feasible for taking care of a plant. But now since everything is work from home, I thought maybe I'll challenge myself to take care of a plant and hope it survives. Here I just put in some shower curtains with these rolly hooks so they slide super easily, and that's a really nice minimalistic black and white grid. We acquired this lovely textured gray West Elm couch for more than 50% off from this lovely couple on the Upper East Side, and they also bought us a bottle of wine as a first move-in gift to New York. You are probably not watching this, but thank you for your kindness. We also wanted this cozy reading nook chair, so we bought this teal accent armchair off of this Russian interior designer lady in Jersey, and her apartment was absolutely gold. We decided to match this gold and white marble side table from Target with our gold and white marble coffee table from Amazon.
It's like weird, like they look like bumpers. Yeah. I mean, the most they'll do, like, they definitely can't elbow it. Look at this range of motion. Man spreading.
So my roommate and I wanted to make a custom gallery wall for the empty space above our couch in the living room, and we wanted some unique vintage gold frames, so we went on a little thrifting adventure. Okay, before you start aimlessly nailing paintings to your wall, let me show you a DIY hack that will also just expose my inner consultant and PowerPoint nerd. But the hack is to take a picture of the frames you bought, airdrop to your laptop, pull it up on PowerPoint, crop the pictures, and then use one frame as a constant to scale all the other frames in proportion to it. You can kind of just eyeball this. Now you can easily arrange and see what position and orientation looks best for your collection of frames. Then I want to see what art I want in my frames before buying it, so I would go into Society 6 and take screenshots of potential art pieces I want to buy and see how they look in my frames. One difficult thing about buying vintage frames is removing the old art, which might have experienced weathering and is old and smelly, and also the nails are really hard to pry open to insert the new art. Frames also sometimes have odd dimensions, especially thrifted ones, so the hack is to buy a piece of art slightly smaller than the frame and to create a custom matting with just regular white cardstock from an art store. All you need to do is to kind of use double-sided tape or just lightly roll up painter's tape to tape the back of your art onto this larger piece of white paper. Not all of our gallery wall is purchased art. I actually designed this first piece on PowerPoint, and then the other three are actually personal photography from my roommate and I. Getting these printed at the local CVS was also super cost efficient as well. And voila, here is the finished product. We also got this super cute art for the bar area, and it is literally a painting of me in quarantine, and it is called Afternoon Tea by Felicia Chow, an Asian American artist on Society 6. Hey guys, welcome to the kitchen area. So the kitchen is the one thing that my roommate and I weren't too big of a fan of when we first saw this apartment, but we thought we could do a little bit of DIY with it. Not a huge fan of this tan marbling with the chestnutty background. We honestly thought that was wood, but it turns out they also put on something called contact paper. And contact paper is a lifesaver. I discovered it in college. The apartment I lived in was already furnished and it had like the ugliest furniture, but I was able to make it completely white marble and it looked super nice. So I'm going to use contact paper again for this counter, and basically what contact paper is, it's like this removable waterproof paper that makes any surface look nicer, or you can make your surface into any kind of finish that you want. So we're going to turn this tan marbling into a white marble countertable. So let's get on to that. And again, I'm not very good at filming transitions, so this is what you're going to get. I mean, cleaning it before just gets rid of any dust and anything that might mess with the adhesive. Oh. Oh, hello there, and welcome. It is now December, and I moved to New York in October, and it has been 3 months, and this just got finished. I may or may not have one too many gray hairs now from just all the filming and the editing, so after 3 months of decorating, retouching, and adding one too many houseplants, I have finally brought to you the ultimate New York City apartment tour during a pandemic. So you can move to New York too, and we can be friends. Only after Pfizer and Moderna hit us up with that V. Okay, alright, I'm just gonna shut up and show you guys around. See, I hit you up with that shitty transition again. See, you didn't even notice that one. That means I'm getting good at this. No, not really. I'm not really getting good at this.
You call yourself a free spirit, a wild thing, and you're terrified somebody's gonna stick you in a cage. Maybe you're already in that cage. You built it yourself.
And welcome to my apartment. We are now in the lobby, foyer, all the fancy words for entryway, and 3 seconds in, we already see one of my fake plants on the windowsill. A giant whopping thing of hand sanitizer, which is the hallmark of the 2020 experience, and my favorite thing in the world, natural lighting. We added 3 command hooks to the side, 2 for hanging coats and outerwear, and 1 teeny tiny one for keys. On the side I have larger rain boots, combat boots, and my skating backpack, and then we have this bamboo and gray bench for storing umbrellas, and maybe only 1% of my shoes, and for sitting when you put on them heels. Doormat to soak the New York rain grime away, and nice large wooden mirror to make sure I don't look like crap before I go out. Except this is mostly decor because I don't even go out anymore these days. Then I have this closet that I call the closet of just random junk. Stuff from jackets, brooms, suitcases, laundry detergents, you get the gist. We actually switched out the boring silver knobs for these antique looking gold knobs, and that's about all that's going for this closet.
I just want to stop.
And now, welcome to my bedroom where I have most of my existential life crisis breakdown. First, there's this area I call my dressing nook. I basically installed this floating drawer and I created this makeshift vanity area with a jewelry organizer / mirror on top. This floating shelf sagged like old boobs for the longest time, but how I got it to stay was through these things called butterfly anchors. I didn't film this part because I was too stressed trying to figure out how to insert the clip. It's like you pinch this giant metal thing and you shove it into the wall, and then it opens up inside the wall to secure the grip. I know this sounds like some kinky BDSM shit, but just family friendly home decor edition. I have 2 closets on each side of my vanity. I call my first closet my business bitch closet. This is basically where I store all of my business clothes, more sophisticated modern women's shit, my trench coats, bags, heels, accessories, and I have this white 4-cube organizer to display all the goodies. My next closet is my I wanna be a quarantine potato closet. This has all my casual clothes, sweatpants, workout clothes, underwear, sweaters, bottoms, etc. Then we enter the bathroom. Pretty much looks the same from the last segment.
Each other, because that's the only chance.
There's 3 built-in medicine cabinets behind the mirror for good storage. I have like oral hygiene and first aid shit in this one, skincare and contacts in the second,
Because that's the only chance.
and hair and makeup in the last one. Only downside of this setup is every time I do my makeup, I feel like I'm going to drop my products in the toilet. Then I have this candle and I absolutely love the scent it's called. It's called Quarter Life Crisis. All panic, no disco, which is super relatable. And my white fluffy rug, which is now probably a little bit gray and gross. And I have a scale and some hooks I put to hang my fluffy polar bear bathrobe and some towels. Shout out to Pottery Barn for these awesome towels. Behind my door, I hung this thing that is actually a piece of tissue paper from one of my Aritzia purchases, and I thought it was kind of aesthetic, so why not reuse, reduce, and recycle? Here is the actual bedroom.
Down in your heart.
I have my DIY bed set up and the underlit glow light thing. On my nightstand, I have a Q&A journal I've had for 5 years now, a positive affirmation book, and a philosophy book. Above my bedroom is a really meaningful map to me. It's a map of Antarctica that I bought when I was backpacking in Antarctica January of 2020 before COVID hit, and it's a reminder to just be so grateful that I was fortunate enough to visit one of the most pristine places in the world with some awesome people.
I just want.
On this mini wall here, I hung up some paper bags from Aritzia and the Sill. One woman's trash, another woman's treasure. Then in this windowsill, I have an exposed Edison light bulb lamp, wine from my time in France that I use as decor, and some books and my journal.
I just want.
On the other nightstand, I have a candle. It's like sage and lavender or something. Moving over to the corner office, I have a desk lamp, a plant, a real one this time, some Muji notebooks and pens. My desk setup makes me look like an artsy bullet journaler, but instead I'm just a corporate hoe. Then on the side, I have a white grid bulletin board where I have some vintage postcards from Japan and the Netherlands that I thrifted, one of my own paintings, and some dried lavender. Oh, and then there's this hilarious mini book I found at a flea market called Corporations: How to Form and Run Them. I literally just purchased it for the meme value. Then I have, gasp, another real plant. My full-length mirror and my exposed corner closet of just neutrals, the hanging light bulb, and another real pothos plant. I originally wanted to hang this in the ceiling above this area, but unfortunately, I realized as soon as I was drilling that I was drilling into concrete, so I hung it on the closet instead.
Real happiness. Because that's the only chance anybody's got for real happiness.
Then I have my home gym in a basket setup with everything from yoga mat, foam roller, HIIT shoes, ballet shoes, and stretching straps. And lastly, my self-commissioned art gallery. Enter the living room. Here's the seating area and the dining nook and bar area. Here's another planty boy that we can't hang, some self-help books because we need a lot of that in 2020, and some other miscellaneous decor. We got some dried lavender in a mason jar from the cutest plant shop in West Village called Rosecran. Like 10 out of 10, would recommend. And we put it all in a mirror tray for the coffee table with some fluffy taupe rug action. Then we got the dining nook area. We have this chestnut wood setup for that homey feeling. I got this really old beer bottle from a vintage shop in Williamsburg, and also bought these flowers from a small corner flower shop that surprisingly lasted weeks now. We got a table with benches instead of chairs because it was less obstructing of the nice window views and lighting and takes up less space while potentially fitting more guests that we currently never have because social distancing. And then we have this cute little art for the bar area with 2 white and wooden bar stools. Last but not least, the kitchen, where I spend most of my time snacking or drinking more coffee than I should. Here we hung up some hooks for our mitts and a paddle cutting board for the exposed aesthetic, and this is the Caffeination Nation corner. And some satisfying organization. We also have a little spinny spice rack and some olive oil dispensers, which are a game changer. Highly recommend. Also, can we just appreciate how beautifully the sunlight is hitting this area for a second? More basic kitchen shit. You get the gist.
I know